Blimey, 7 o'clock on Friday again. Comes around so quick, but here we are on the Long Run live stream and podcast brought to you by the FORDY Runs running community. To chat about all sorts of stuff on here about running, and often we get distracted and talk about other stuff as well. So hopefully we can entertain you for the next sort of hour and a bit. Perhaps if we drag it on a little bit, we'll try and find something to talk about anyway. It's been a busy old week. Black Friday. I don't know if you heard. You know, you might have had the odd advert,
the odd email,
the odd reminder, the odd email. We'd like to talk about whatever you've managed to bash that credit card and get some stuff over the last sort of like couple of days. Really, I mean, it used to be Black Friday. It's now Black Friday week. You know, about 4 years ago, didn't happen at all, and people started fighting over tellies in Tesco, and it all went on from there, really. We're here to talk about all sorts of things running. I am joined tonight by the usual crew. The usual gang is back in town. We've got Toby, our technical producer. He's here in his brightly coloured office.
With a haircut.
Yeah, he's looking very
smart. Got hammered last week.
Yeah. See, we do listen. When people hammer people about their appearance and their haircut, so we do listen. And good old Toby's brushed up a bit and made a bit of an effort this week. So all credit to him. Al's here.
Al looks cold. Doesn't he?
Al looks cold in his new rhubarb and custard.
Rhubarb and custard.
Yeah, but you look cold, bro. How many layers you got on?
One day.
1, 3.
He's got 3. Wilco's like you the other night at running.
So 8 layers on. Off, mate.
This is age.
Yeah, well, you know, see, when them big bills start coming at the home, you see, they start cutting it off, you know, gradually.
This is where they cut it off at this time of year.
I was out last week. I'm looking to move to the seaside, so hopefully.
Yeah. Oh, that would be all right. It'd be lovely for 2 months of the year and really depressing for the other 10.
Yeah.
That would be lovely. And Chris is here. How you doing, mate?
I'm all right. I want to know what everybody's been buying today. I put something out on Insta earlier because I managed to bag a pair of Alpha Flies on the cheap, about 100 and, well, it's not cheap, but relative, 160 quid, because I got a sneaky feeling that the Alpha Fly 2s are going to be delayed because of all the problems around the world, getting stuff sent out and all this sort of stuff. So I bagged a pair of them for basically Edinburgh is what I was thinking, because the new Alpha Fly 2 is allegedly meant to come out in the spring, March sort of time is, you know, pre-release, and then they go through all the rigmaroles of giving it to all the sort of elites, and they wear it in the Olympic trials and all that sort of stuff. But I think when that does drop, it's going to be even more on limited supply than it was last time because of all the supply chain issues in the world. So bottom line, do you
think if you're playing, you know, Edinburgh's at the end of May, isn't it? If you're planning for to get kitted out and thinking about your spring marathon, really now you don't want to leave it too late. Now's the time perhaps to think about it. You know, even the immediately aftermath of Christmas, like January sales, you want to start thinking about and bagging yourself a bargain.
Yeah, I think I mean, I know Alpha Flies, for example. I mean, I did a video today on the ugliest shoes, and I put them in there because I think they're damn ugly. But for me, they just work over the marathon distance. So I know that I'm going to be going for a time, or hopefully going for a time in May, and I want to have the confidence to have a shoe that I know works for me. So when they're sitting there at 160 quid, when they're usually 200 and something the wrong price, and I know with good, you know, suspicion that Alpha Fly 2 is going to probably be delayed because unless something miraculously changes in the world in terms of supply issues, that a lot of, it doesn't matter whether you're buying mince pies, Christmas trees, or Alpha Flies, there could be a problem. So I don't want to be in that situation where I do all my training and I'm sitting there worrying about if I'm going to be able to get my hands on a pair of Alpha Fly 2s and if they work. So I kind of hedge myself really. If I get a pair of Alpha Fly 2s and they're brilliant, then that's awesome. And I
suppose it's another thing you don't have to worry about, isn't it? You know, if you've got, you know, if you get to the stage where you're going to be cracking on with your plan in about 6 to 8 weeks, then perhaps now's the time that you can think about even a little bit more in advance, but like with your kit and things like that, and what you're going to try.
Yeah, I actually bought a hat for a summer project that we're thinking about doing in April, which we will tell the viewers later on in the year, next year, what we're doing. But I actually bought a hat, believe it or not, with that sole purpose in mind, because it's a trail hat. and it looks awesome. And I want to look awesome when we go out and do what we're not allowed to talk about. That we do.
Yeah, but we can't talk about that.
No. Anyway,
top.
That's another story. But so I want to know in the comments from everybody who's watching, listening, and if you're now listening to this back on the podcast, email into the email address, which is what, Wilco?
LongrunShow@gmail.com.
Nearly.
Oh,
and let us know.
There, wasn't I?
Let us know what you bagged on Black Friday or Black Friday week, or even what is it now? Cyber Monday comes around, and all, isn't it? So yeah, I see JBS has already he's smashed up some Vaporflies, and he's going for a time next year. So he's got his Vaporflies, and he's gone rhubarb and custard marathon top as well. Good lad. Smashing out the 40 run store as well, which is good.
I've got to say, there were a lot of people. I saw some pictures of various people from the Hartford group who did the Stevenage half marathon, and there was lots of rhubarb and custard going on. Wasn't there? Have you been surprised? It seems to have been a real hit.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a joke, really. The name, because the supplier who does all our stuff, it's just a local business in Hertfordshire. We're not some massive company that needs a warehouse. It's a dude in his shed. But he does a lot of the kit locally for like a lot of the clubs and stuff. And I got introduced to him to the third party. Super nice guy. Big shout out to John. And I asked him for my marathon top for London, because the whole kit came around because I wanted something different for London to stand out, because everybody's in their amazing charity vest, charity top. So I said, you know what? I'm going to wear black, but I'm going to do this. And he went, all right. He said, that looks like a bit like rhubarb and custard. There we go. So, and actually, I have now got a top. Wait till tomorrow, Wilco. You'll see it tomorrow. I've got a top, especially for tomorrow, as Toby chases his time tomorrow, because
we've got a big day tomorrow.
Big day.
We're off to Stevenage Park Run, because we've been trying to we've been doing a few sessions to try and build up our pace and try and smash it tomorrow. Hopefully, there's even rumours that there's a course inspection at 8 o'clock because they're suspecting there might be a bit of snow coming down our way. I know that we can be a little bit southeast centric on here, and I know that there is some pretty harsh weather expected up north this weekend. So, if you're out there, take care and don't go mad and do anything.
Don't do what Toby's doing and go for a time. It's not worth it this weekend. Don't do what Toby's doing.
This is going to be the week that Toby smashes 20 minutes.
20 minutes, and if he doesn't, there is a punishment. He has to buy, because Toby's in the market, by the way. People, let us know in the comments if you own an electric car, because Toby's is moving into electric power. He's got rid of the Porsche. He's decided that he's growing up for a change, and he's trying to save the planet, and he's getting an electric car. Now, I said to him to get a G-Whiz or whatever they're called. One of those little two-seater jobbies made out of plastic. But he's got his heart set on something. I don't know what it is. But anyway, I told him that if he doesn't get sub 20 minutes, he has to go and get a white Audi electric car, because he loves white Audis. Loves white Audis.
If you're on the podcast now, Toby's doing a lot of head shaking.
Yeah,
you might see him on YouTube, but the silent approach don't tend to work too much when you.
No, it doesn't work on this audio-based format, Toby.
We have to go audio description.
Lot of risk for Toby tomorrow. A lot of risk. I'm also. It's part of the Challenge Toby series that comes out on YouTube. And I won't say any more than that, but watch out when the video does drop, because there is a bit of a twist to Toby's task tomorrow. I'm not going to say any more than that. But
I'm not even aware of this.
Yeah, it's going to be made.
What fun would it be if you were aware of it?
Yeah, it's not exactly a challenge, is it, Toby? If you know what you could run sub 20 minutes with your eyes closed. Let's be honest. It's just the fact that you eat like a pig.
I wouldn't do it around Stevenage though, because if you run around with your eyes closed, you'd probably fall in the lake.
Oh, that's a good point.
I can't swim, so
or slip over on the snow.
So there you go. Right, there's your advice, Toby. Keep your eyes open.
Oh, boys, big news, by the way. Big news, and this is a massive shout out to everyone. And actually, I'll come on to another thing in a minute. We are now and this is official from Alan, so, don't dispute it. We are one of the biggest running podcasts now in the UK. So we are majorly, according to a poll that was put out or a stats thing, we are now, and I don't know how we've achieved this, because nobody really authenticated this and listened to anything that we do. Because we just rock up and talk nonsense. But we are now genuinely one of the biggest running podcasts in the UK, apparently. We are I would say, punching massively above our weight, based on the fact of all these amazing other podcasts are well produced, scripted, sponsored, bankrolled, promoted, probably well put together. Get celebrities on there, get elite runners on there. This is just 4 guys sitting around talking nonsense, and some weeks it goes terribly wrong. So, yeah, thanks to everybody who's listened, downloaded the podcast, especially if you're in Malta, Singapore, Luxembourg, Lithuania, all those amazing countries. But here in the UK as well, we really genuinely, and I mean this sincerely, want to say thank you, because we started this as basically because we like talking about running, and we genuinely appreciate you doing it. And also sending the emails to, which email address was it, Wilco?
longrunShow@gmail.com.
There we go. And we can't believe it's episode 22 already. So
22?
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And the other thing, boys, is you can tell we're going up in the world. Now, again, this is a genuine email. I'm going to show it up to the camera, and I appreciate the podcast. You won't see it, but this is a genuine email that we've had this week in terms of sponsorship for the channel. Right? Where is it? This is from Drew. So big shout out, Drew.
Hello, Drew.
Hi, Chris. We came across the long run and think there is a great fit. We are reaching out behalf of of the audio marketing team at Manscaped. Now, if you don't know what Manscaped and it's genuine. No. Look, boys, I'm not making it up. Look, now for anybody who doesn't, just Google, right, while you're sitting now listening to this, Google Manscaped, right, and you will understand why.
Toby, I think we've just worked out what the twist is on your challenge tomorrow.
Manscaped.
Negotiate hard for us, Chris. This could be the big one.
What is it? Back, sack, and crack in it, or whatever.
Stack, back, and crack.
Oh, boys, genuine. Look, so if anybody wants to give Drew a shout out, there we go. Now, I haven't had the art to go back to him yet. Now, Manscaped. So that's obviously
Why does
what
he
they
think we're a great
demographic.
fit? That's what I want to know.
What?
Does he expand on the notion that we're a great fit for him?
We see a huge opportunity to partner together and love to learn more about your podcast. Well, here's a tip, Drew. Maybe you should listen to one of the episodes and you'll find out it's not really compatible.
Chris, we need to put a warning. Do not Google Manscaped on your work PC.
Yeah. Sorry. Do not. Yeah. Heed the warning. Do not look at. Yeah. Don't Google that at work. Okay.
Or don't ask Alexa what it is either.
Yeah. Don't ask Alexa what it is. Okay. Just, yeah. Sorry if anybody's got in trouble with their other halves because I've just told you to Google something. But yeah, genuine email from Manscaped. Now, we did have some other sponsorship requests, and I'm sure we can.
These are all actually genuine, folks. We don't just make this up.
No, it's just genuine. I have the emails. One of them was called. Oh, actually, I shouldn't really give them a shout out because we're giving them free advertising. But one of them was a gaming company because we're huge into gaming on this running podcast / live stream, and I don't know what the other one was, but some sort of furniture. I can't even look what it was. But I do think they've obviously they have listened to some of this because Mars have been in touch. Allegedly Mars.
Sure.
Now, I know that's not Mars. I know that's some Mickey Mouse email in some part of Asia who's trying to get all our email addresses. But apparently Mars want to sponsor this podcast, but he obviously doesn't realise I was born yesterday. But we don't care because we've got Manscaped. So this podcast this week, despite not getting paid a penny from them, because I didn't have the art to write back just in case. Well, I don't know what would happen, but we will give some love to Manscaped, and we've given them some advertising tonight. Probably some of you are now in trouble at work because you've Googled it. But yeah, this
Alexa refuses to even.
Yeah, this podcast is dedicated or sponsored by. Do you reckon like? The run testers and people like that, they get this sort of thing, or do you think it's just
literally these kind of requests all the time?
They don't get. They just get scripted and told what to say about the stuff they get sent in, right? So it's like Imagine if Manscaped sent us some products and we got told what to say. That could be interesting, couldn't that? Would actually make a good podcast. What do we think, chaps? No, maybe we should move on, Wilco. Get out of the gutter.
Yeah, we dug ourselves into a little bit of a hole here, haven't
Bit
we?
of a hole.
What else is? We're looking at Christmas now soon, aren't we? I mean, you've got the jingle jog next week. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, and I'll just edit in the video this week. It's a cracking video. What Al and I did. Actually, and for those guys who are asking me on Instagram, the weight loss video comes out on Sunday. So for those who are asking after last week's show where I alluded to the weight loss video that I've done, they were saying, where is it? That's coming out on Sunday. So watch out for that. And just to update you, I've lost half a stone already. So I'm not saying that what I do is the right way to do things, by the way. I'm just saying update for my mates really more than anything else. So I have generally lost half a stone. And that's about, well, not 2 weeks, about 10 days, just by switching it out. So
can you just give us a quick sort of synopsis about what you've been up to? Can you put it in a little?
Well, instead of drinking my usual Friday night shuz up, I'm on herbal tea, just to give you one insight. So it's just changes to what I'll be doing and how I've been doing it. And yeah, so for example, herbal tea instead of a can of Coke tonight. So that's how we roll. But yeah, watch that on Sunday if you're interested or in how I'm looking at changing my diet. It's not an advert to say you have to watch this. This is how you're going to lose weight. Al, talking of all things change, how are you getting on your, was it NutriBullet?
My NutriBullet and my juicing and smoothing, which is not a reference to manscaping. I just add.
You got a filthy mind, Mr. Bowley.
Get out of the gut.
So no, I might have to go shopping again this weekend. I started just over 2 weeks ago. I filled about 3 bags full of mangoes and pineapples and blueberries and all sorts. And I'm on a daily bag of kale at the moment, going into my smoothies. So I must admit, I've surprised myself. I'm really enjoying it. I look forward to my first thing in the morning juice up to get me going in the day. So it's
and
going
you're feeling
well.
the benefits then, mate.
The benefits, well,
yeah.
First up, it gets you out of bed because your breakfast has to be made. So that's a good start. But actually, with a little bit of ginger, gives it a little bit of kick. You do just kind of feel that energy boost right at the start of the day. So, and I make that I go out from a midday run and I have a little pick me up at lunchtime as well. So,
Al, would you consider putting some recipes together for our listeners?
That would mean actually doing some admin, but yeah, I could give it a go.
Right. So if you want one of ours, what they call NutriBullets, I'm just thinking of sponsorship
opportunity. There are other brands available like Vitamix if we want to sponsor.
Yeah. So if you want some recipes, email in to, what is it, Wilco?
longrunshow@gmail.com.
Yeah, and Al will send you a recipe.
Why don't we get him doing it live? Why don't we get him like Nigella?
Live NutriBlast.
Why don't we do a live? He can give. No, I was just thinking we could give something back to, because the listeners and the viewers, obviously, we're not, big shout out to everyone watching live tonight. And keep your questions coming in, people. Not necessarily about manscaping, but we're happy to, Wilco's happy to discuss those. But if you want to, so what was I saying? Oh, yeah, to get the emails in, because then we can give them something back. We can give them some recipes. Al's recipe. Just put on there if you're allergic to anything, or maybe, you pretend to be a vegan, but you get caught eating croissants. Just put that down.
You were sent the evidence. Funny, but I bet Toby never got that picture.
We never got that, did we, Toby?
No, funny, isn't it?
Never saw anything. Never saw anything. So yeah, if you pretend to be a vegan, or you are actually a vegan, like Alan probably should be, then put that also in the email when you send that in, and he will gladly send you a recipe to try out.
I think live from Al's kitchen.
Live from Al's
doing
kitchen.
one would be brilliant.
Let us know. Send an email in. Do you want to see Al in the kitchen? Let us know, and he will be dressed. We know he likes to dress up and stuff.
Okay, that's a challenge. I'll take it.
Hang on, boys. Maybe that's where it came from. They listened to Al's podcast with him talking about cross-dressing, and they thought, hang on a minute, this is a geezer who likes to manscape. Maybe that's where it came from, Al. What do you think?
Lips are sealed. Not saying anything.
Right, you know what? Should we actually talk about something running related? Should we talk
Yeah, we
about
could
something
do, because we've
related?
done 20 minutes talking about a load of our waffle, really.
Well, manscaping mainly.
Bless them.
Oh, shout out Nazing Fish and Chip Shop. We've had some emails in about the tomato. Everybody who sent the emails in, thanks for that. Yeah, definitely.
Now, this was Toby abandoning the tomato in his chicken burger, wasn't it?
This is genuine emails coming, people. Thank you again to everybody who jumped in on this argument and backed me. Tobe, tomato's got to go in the burger.
Can I see the evidence of his emails?
Yeah, they're here. They're here. There's
I'll check
emails
them
coming
tomorrow.
in with people saying tomato in. I know tomatoes have got feelings, but the tomato has to be included into the Nazing chicken burger type with your chaser, your batter sausage chaser. So
This sounds great. I'm going to have to go down and have one.
yeah, we're going to go. So this podcast though is not sponsored by Nazing Fish and Chip Shop. By the way,
Yeah.
that was last
Not
week.
yet.
Not yet.
yet.
This week is definitely
But
sponsored
we're
by
open
our
to
friends.
suggestions, you know.
Yeah. Anyway, right. Should we talk about running related stuff?
Yeah, let's talk about running related stuff. We were going to talk. We thought we'd talk about. We'd look back on like the first races we did, and sort of like what sort of different world we lived in when we did them. You know, from a sort of running perspective, and how our approach might have changed to you know, how we look onto these sort of things now. So yeah, we thought we'd have a chat about that, didn't we?
Yeah. Let us know in the comments what your. I mean, this was driven by a post actually that I think I put in a couple of weeks ago about people's first races and no, first medals. I think it was. I think the post was. So let us know in the comments if you're listening live to this YouTube, Facebook. But it's the. I was wondering how soon into the show FORDY would mention Al being a vegan.
Yeah, it's vegan Al bingo, isn't it?
Yeah, but don't get me wrong, people. As I've said a million times, I would genuinely love to be a vegan. So this is not a hating vegan. I would honestly, genuinely like to be it if I wasn't so useless at having any self-control. So
we're all for, you know, we're all for Al
100%.
going through all this on our behalf,
100%.
really, and testing it all out.
100%.
And you know, it's not, we are not vegan bashers at all.
Nah,
you know,
not at all.
We, you know, we're big in favour of it, and
on the contrary,
willing to experiment ourselves to a certain degree.
Absolutely. And if anything, we muck about, but we do it deliberately to keep bringing it to people's attention, so that you know.
And I find it really, I genuinely find it interesting.
Yeah, exactly. No, I do. I genuinely do, and I think, like I said, Alan and I talk about it a lot in terms of our diet and things like that, and there's huge benefits.
If you can see the video feed now, he's looking at us saying, "Yeah, of course."
Yeah, no, but it's true. It's genuine. So there's no hating out here. But yeah, more importantly, also let us know in the comments what your first races were. So, Toe, give us your first race. What was it?
I think mine was London Landmarks 2018.
That's a big one.
I think it must
have
been.
How did you get into that then? How did that become your first one?
I don't know really. Part
Toby answer.
Yeah,
I don't know really.
We set the bar well here, haven't we?
Running was never a real plan. I was sort of like a cyclist, and then someone at work started running, so I gave it a go. And they keep on reminding me that after my first ever run, I said, "That's really hard, isn't it? I'm not doing that again." And see where that gets you, you know. So I think moved on park runs, stuff like that, just running generally by myself round the local Lee Valley. I think I did a Teams Unite 10K at one point locally. I can't remember if that was before or after the Landmarks though. But my first sort of big event, Landmarks, managed to get in on the ballot. Didn't even really realise it was a ballot at the time. Just got in.
It's useless, isn't it? He's absolutely useless. You wonder how he gets up in the morning, don't you?
I've been wondering that, to be honest. Did that, completely messed it up, and then learnt from it. And
so, how did you completely mess it up then?
Well, I went off too fast, obviously. As your first race ever. This is before I knew Chris or anyone else, and just literally
BC before Chris.
Yeah, and see what happened since then.
So you just went tearing off, and then
I went booming off, going, well, this is my 5K pace. If I go a little bit slower, I'll be all right. I remember getting to around the Guildhall, which wasn't even halfway, I don't think, and sort of really thinking, I can't do this any longer.
Did you do any training or did you blag it?
Bit of both, maybe. Nothing's changed there, to be honest. Bit of training and a bit
Nothing's changed.
of hope.
Bit of hope. Yeah. Wing of a prayer. Usual story. What about you, Al?
This is spooky, and this hasn't been rehearsed. London Landmarks 2018 was my first race. So, Toad, we might have been running next to each other and just wasn't aware.
Wow.
Obviously, he would have probably been a bit quicker. So he was probably, a couple of kilometres further ahead.
That is spooky, isn't it?
Yeah,
I was never winning it, though.
No.
Oh, sorry. Misunderstood.
No. Out of the four of us, has anybody been winning? Oh.
So that was my first
I
race.
remember this year Chris got ahead and sort of like was about 3.5 seconds you were winning the.
It's got to be at least 2 seconds that I was winning it for. At least. I really pulled it out of the bag.
So how did you get roped into it, Al?
Well, I was actually running it as for charity. So prostate cancer, I was signed up for them because
great charity shout out.
The race would have been in April or May, Toby, was it? Probably, yeah, because the previous summer, the previous summer, I'd had a cancer scare and I'd been in the hospitals having tests and all sorts like that. I was at least 2 stone heavier, so it was a good opportunity to say, how can I put a bit back, raise some money for a great cause, and don't look back, do you?
Oh, great.
6 weeks later, I was running the Manchester half marathon, and then my BC was June 2018, Southend half, when I came across this weird guy filming at the end of the Southend half, Mr. Ford.
Who's that?
Mr. Ford. It was when other running clubs were in my history. Yeah, so we'll move on, shall we?
BC as well, before Chris.
Yeah.
What about you, Wilco?
My first one was 10K. I did run Newham around the Olympic Park in about 2017.
I did that one, Wilco.
It was a bit more of a special one because you finished in the stadium.
Yeah, I was there with you, bruv. I did that one. That's weird, isn't it, boys? That's freaky.
That was the first one I did, because what happened was I'd started running probably 3 or 4 months before that. And so it was the summer. It was a hot day. It was July.
Yeah, I remember it.
I've been running about 2 or 3 months because I'd got into running mainly because being in my mid-40s, I got a letter from the doctor saying, "I'll come in and have a checkup, see how you are." And I thought, they're just going to tear me off about how much I'm drinking and how overweight I am and all that. So I thought it's going to take 2 or 3 months to get an appointment. So I'll go to the gym and do a bit at work. And I started doing that. And then one of the boys at work, because I work with a lot of lads who are younger than me, they said, "Oh, if you like running, go outside, run outside. It's so much better." And then one of them said to me, "Oh, there's a half marathon." And then I just said, "You're taking the mick, I won't actually say what I said. And they said, "Oh, well, it's a big half. It's the first one. You live in Greenwich. You get half price entry, and it's 9 months away. If you book up, you'll carry on. You'll get out there, and you'll keep going." And it was the best thing I ever did. So that 10K around the Olympic Park was that was my first one. And then the big half in 2018 was my first half. It's all gone on from there, really.
I'm trying to find on my phone. The boys are just hammering me on the comments. You can't see comments, right? We've got like a private thing that. So if like I don't know, Al's doing.
Yeah, Al's mute again
or whatever. And I'm looking down at my phone because I'm trying to find a picture, Wilco, if I've got it on my phone of me at that race, because I remember the girls coming along, and
it was a boiling hot day.
It was a boiling hot day.
I signed up for it quite late because I thought.
Yeah. I'm trying to find it.
I work
Was
a
it
lot of
17?
weekends, and when I'm not working, my daughter doesn't live with me, and I spend a lot of time with her at the weekends as well. So the actual weekend days where I've got a day off and not doing anything are quite limited. So
Did you say it's 2017?
I just had a day off about 3 weeks before, and I thought, oh, I'll see if there's a 10K. I fancy doing that. I've done a few park runs, and I went on from there. And it just happened. But it was quite a big one. It was a lot bigger than the. We're going to do the Christmas one in a couple of weeks around the Olympic Park, and there's quite a lot of Olympic Park. But this was on a much grander scale, wasn't it, Chris?
Yeah, was it 2017?
Yeah, it would have been, I think.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find it because I remember a picture. Because I think my old man came with me to that one, and he took a picture of me. And I was in the stadium. Now that's the South End half. But I remember it like it was yesterday because I remember I had like some dodgy thing on, and I lost some weight, and I just remember it like it was yesterday. And it was a picture of me in the stand because it was like I literally just dropped a load of weight, and I was thinking because the picture, and someone said to me, "God blimey, he looks ill." That's why I remember the picture because I'd lost so much weight from where it was previously that, and someone said to me how much weight it was like his head with this stick attached to it. But yeah, I was there, bruv. I remember it. Yeah, like it was yesterday.
I remember it was very hot, and I was taken aback by the number of people who were sort of like charity people cheering you on and people calling your name and all that.
Yeah,
sort of
and the
thing.
Roar in the stadium was awesome. Yeah, it was a good one. I remember it. It's a good day out. That was.
And I think that's the last time they've done it, which is a
Yeah.
real shame
Yeah, it
because
was
that'd be a cracking event.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know why they stopped it because it seemed to be massive.
It was run by the Great North Run people.
That was it. It was because there was that one, and there was what went on to become the A6 10K, the London one, and I think that was the London 10K they used to call it, or wherever it was. And it was done by Nike or Nike, wherever you are in the world. Because I did that one. That race was my first sort of 10K. It's funny how we start with the 10K. And that was it was called the Nike or the London 10K. And then I did basically because my brother-in-law, as you guys don't know the channel, but it was my brother-in-law got me into running because he said, oh, this is the quickest way to get fit, get healthy, and that sort of stuff. And it was a lot easier to have. I used to do a few runs with him and stuff like. I mean, he was so much faster than me. He's one of these really annoying people again. And I love him to death, but he could just go out and run, knock out 45-minute 10K, and you're like, he ain't done nothing. And he looks like a model before and after he's done it. Like fatty and skinny went for a run. Do you know what I mean? It was like, well, leave it out. So, but anyway, in fairness to him, and we'd done that run, that London 10K, and there's a picture of me, and I had a charity vest on, and it was the day, and I had like all the blood over me nipples, and classic like new runner experience, but I loved it absolutely. And I got this big moon face where I was just in that start of that journey to lose weight. But it's a great picture of me and my brother-in-law. I love it. But that was the first one, and it was a big race, and then that I think effectively turned into the overpriced A6 10K that now happens in London, and you have to remortgage for every year, which I still enjoy to a degree, but I just think it's a bit.
So, how much prep did you do for this race then?
Yeah, I did a little bit. I because I was going through that whole I need to lose weight fitness drive kind of thing. I put more effort into it. I'd stop smoking. I try to cut out a lot of rubbish and try to really get into it. And because of my sort of addictive personality, everything was focused and still was on running. So every opportunity I could get, I would go out and do it. It was winter. I remember running I used to even meet him at his flat, and he used to take me out for like 5K and stuff like that to get me sort of match fit, so to speak. I can't for the life of me remember how quick or slow I did it. I got absolutely no idea. All I just remember is the picture of me with my arm around him with my moon face and blood on my nipples. But that got me into it. And then, as you say, Wilco, then there was like the Newham one. We did another one where we ran from one stadium to another stadium, like one of the rugby stadiums. There was like
that was Saracens to Wembley and back, because I was involved in organising that when I worked.
Yeah, I did that one. It was badly organised. I remember that.
Yeah,
it was
absolutely.
I don't know.
It actually caused chaos because we had to close the Edgware Road.
Yeah.
On Mothering Sunday.
Yeah, that was it. Edgware Road. That was it.
Parliament about
so badly organised.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did that one, and that's really, and then it I think like all of us have said, apart from Toe, and that it was, you just half marathon distance, and then sort of crashed through the rest of it, and then pretty much got addicted to it, and then went from there really, and then turned into this. which is.
So when was the first race you did that you actually nailed down a plan and thought, I'm going to plan for this, I'm going to follow, well, Toby, it's never happened.
Never.
But
Yeah, that's 2022, isn't it?
I
That's
think he's still coming. Yeah.
2022. I've got a plan for him. He won't follow
what
it.
about you, Al?
Well, because I was running for charity and I hadn't done anything, I kind of did have a plan. I wouldn't say it was anything like what you'd kind of refer to now once you've kind of gone through the coaching badges, but it was the aim was to get out 3 or 4 times a week and run down the A120 as far as I could until I died and then come back again. And slowly but surely got closer and closer to the M11 before turning back. So I think that counts as a plan. But yeah, I wanted to succeed, I suppose, however that was defined. So I put the effort in because I'd signed up in the August and the race was in the April or the May. So I did try and work quite hard on that one. So perhaps that's where I got the Hansen bug from, being out.
Yeah, you see, the first time I actually had a plan, I did the big half, then I did a couple of other halves, including a trail half at Wimpole Hall in Cambridgeshire, which didn't go particularly well. I finished about 10th from last and struggled, walked a mile. And then I thought, I've got to start taking it a bit more seriously. And I had a place in the Great North Run, and I thought, now I would actually like to do a marathon one day, I think, but I'm not going to be able to just do that, and I've got to know that I'm going to have the discipline to follow a plan, because I'm not going to be able to do it without a plan. So I thought, I'll do a plan for the Great North Run. If I can't, I know I can do 13 miles, but if I can't follow a plan, then I've got to seriously think about whether I can do a marathon, because I'm not going to be in a position to be fit to be at the level that I want to do it well. So that was the first, and then it became a sort of like a step up, rather than this is my first event, I'm going to look at a plan, and then it was something that I thought, well, I've done so much, but now I've got to think about it really.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Wilco. I think Great North Run for me, whatever time, whichever one it was, but I think Great North Run for me was the same principle. I picked up a plan and I tried to execute it to a degree. I think that was the first one. I think, you know what? I was just looking, boys, and thanks again, everybody who's been commenting and stuff, because we've had loads tonight. I mean, loads. But there's been we got to give some shout outs to some of these people. We've got London Bupa 10K, Draycote 10K. There were some other ones. A GNR 60, Myton Hospice 5K, Santa Dash, Velo Park Half Marathon. That's probably the worst one to go to because it's about 150 laps. Rugby Half Marathon. What else we got?
We've got a shout out from an anonymous Facebook user for the Temple Newsom 10K back in 1996. Pre-chip timing. How'd you cope with that?
That is hardcore. Great Newham Run. That's what it was called.
That's what it was.
Yeah, Great Newham Run. Thanks for that. We've also had some questions coming, boys, as well, which we may need to answer at some point. We'll come on to the questions in a minute because we've got some emails. When I say believe it or not, when I say it means that I've actually printed some of them off before the show, which is I think,
we don't just throw it together,
Yeah, it's almost like we thought about some of this before we went live. But yeah, so we'll come on to them in a minute. But yeah, so Al, actually, do you want to should we do the questions now?
Yeah, I've kind of been taking note, but before we do, quick shout out to Aaron Newton. He's a regular listener. He's already identified that Manscaped is offering 25% off to FORDY runs and the long run listeners. So it's Black Friday. Get in there, get your bargains. So thank you for that, Aaron. It's funny, but also a number of people have commented your weight loss may be related to endorsement of this new product. So don't know.
Wait till Sunday's video.
We'll see on the video. But coming back to the questions,
loads of B-roll in that video.
Phil T wants to know what our weekly mileage is. So where are we at the moment in terms of?
At the moment, mine is. If you're my consultant listening, how are you? I'm doing nothing. Okay. If you're the consultant, you work at the Rivers Hospital. Anybody, I'm doing nothing. Don't look at Strava. I'm doing the minimal amount that I can get away with without getting myself into trouble. So that probably doesn't answer your question, but yeah, So
Yeah.
it
So
may be
nothing
that maybe
close.
Phil works at maybe Phil works at the hospital. Is he a spy?
Mm.
Phil, let me know. Do you work at the Rivers Hospital in Sawbridgeworth? Are you my consultant in disguise? Sorry, boys, carry on.
I've not done hardly any this week. I did 10k on Sunday, and that's as much as I've done. I didn't come. I've got a few other sort of like bits and bobs that I'm sorting out at the moment, so it's taking a little bit of a back seat. But I've had a very quiet time because since I finished my first marathon on the 17th of October, I've wound down a bit, and now I'm thinking, well, it's the 1st of December next week. Perhaps it's time to
You need
just
to get
start
back in
kick
the
on a
saddle.
little bit, get back in it, because then it'll be 2 months before I'll start my training plan for Edinburgh.
Actually,
So
to be fair, I
now's
think
the time to
Phil,
do it.
Wilco, so I think Phil was actually asking in more general terms, how much do we run in a week? So
It depends.
let's give him
I
more
would
of a.
say I run mainly, between 20 and 30 miles a week.
Al, you're a good person because of your Hanson.
Well, I've been off it
Let's
as
say
well.
we're normal. When
Yeah,
you're
so
normal.
I've been off it a little bit as well. So this is going well, isn't it? As a host of a run podcast, we're not actually doing much running at the moment, but there is a reason for that. A serious point is, we've all come off a big autumn season, and it is a bit of downtime. Normal, if I was on a training plan for a marathon, would be in excess of 45 miles a week, peaking at kind of 55 when you're really kind of hitting some of those long mileages. So that builds up quite quickly on a Hanson plan. So you need quite a good base. So ticking over for me at the moment is still 25 miles, give or take.
No, it's a lot. A lot. That's for a lot for some people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm usually marathon training. I would say average is probably about 37, 38. I would say marathon training wise. But again, my training I tend to do, and I mentioned this before, although I'm going to change it this time round. I do slightly less miles, but more concentrated work within those miles. So certain sessions are designed at, certain, effort levels and that kind of stuff. So I train that way, which is, you can go one way or the other, or you can go like heavy miles and that sort of stuff. I am actually going to be flipping it over this training block to see what happens if I go the other way. But I reckon normal marathon training, I think I average about 37, 38 miles a week, probably a little bit more, a little bit less, but probably a good shout. What about you, Toby? You're about the same, aren't you, mate? We're about the same, me and you.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I think in a normal sort of week, about the 20 to 30 miles, somewhere in there. And say when you get into marathon training, that, 30, probably closer to 40 plus, depending what it is. I don't really have targets, though. I don't find they work for me. I just think it puts pressure on me to have a target of how much I should be doing a week or a month. And more, that almost puts me off. Again, I've not hit that. I've not. But, more, I'll try and do 4 miles. If I'm going to go out, I'll do 4 miles at least. And then try and chuck, some of them maybe put that up to a 6 mile or 10K and then put a long run at the weekend. So
I think you got to believe in the plan. Whatever plan it is, whether it's Hanson, whatever shape or form your training looks like, believe in that. But I think sometimes if you put targets on stuff, it can overload you in terms of mental capacity. But again, like just Phil said, I like a week at the target, otherwise we wouldn't get out there. You're absolutely right, Phil. Whatever, and this is the key thing to everything, is whatever works for you. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like I say,
I do often find I did have a point. Like, I haven't done it in the last couple of months, since my race and everything, but I was regularly aiming to do 200k a month. Which
what's that filtered down into a week roughly? Because my maths is
what's that? Well, so 50. What's that? That's about 32, isn't it? 30, 35
k a week.
Roughly. Yeah, that's even during, that was during lockdown, particularly when you're only going out once a day. So I would make sure that I would do 10k. I would do an hour's worth and things like that, and get so. But then having spreading it over the target over a month gives you a little bit more flexibility, and then you don't worry too much about on a weekly. It can. I think it could get on top of you a little bit. But if you spread it out over a month, you've got a bit more leeway.
And again, we're everyday runners, people, and I think that's why we are one of the highest ranked running podcasts in Slovenia. Is because we're relatable, because we're just like everybody else. We ain't some and there's no, we're not elite runners. We try and fit in running. We all do running for our different reasons, and we're trying to improve and we're trying to fit it in. But like, I think everybody who listens to this show, you're trying to battle work, life, balance, everything else amongst with everything. So it's very hard. It does, I love these people who can, have the time to go out and run 75, 80 miles a week. That would be awesome. But I think it's very hard. Just do what you can.
This time of year as well, it's getting cold, it's dark,
I like that. No, I like that, Wilco. I don't mind the cold in the dark. I think it's quite nice, mainly because I don't have to look at Toby's barnet because he usually puts a hat on. But it's I quite like getting out in the dark.
Yeah, but I mean, some people will feel like that.
You're right. Yeah, some people it puts so many people off. We see it at a club. Your numbers always die in over the winter months because it's bleeding hard to get motivated.
Apart from Hartford on Tuesday, when only one
hardcore, there was about 150 of them this week. It's brilliant. It was just an amazing session.
Toby did it. Didn't bother.
Toby did it, and he didn't break anyone. Or did you break someone, Toby? Did you break it? No, you broke Sabrina because she was sick. Toby nearly killed Sabrina because she nearly passed out.
Nearly,
but yeah.
Everyone puts himself in there.
Yeah, true. But yeah, so yeah, it is hard. No, I agree with what you're saying. It is hard. And you know what? Good luck to you, mate. If that's working out for you with a weekly target.
It's like so much in this stuff. If you find what works for you and you're happy, crack on.
Maybe try it. If you're struggling with motivation, maybe give yourself a target. Do what Phil's doing. Give yourself a target and say, right, this week I'm going to run 10 miles. Maybe you're doing nothing at the moment. This week I'm going to do 10 miles. So I'm going to do 3 miles park run, break it up through the rest of the week. Give yourself a target. It might work. Use it. Let us know. Send an email into where?
longunshow@gmail.com. Yeah,
and let us know. Did you use the Phil training method? Phil, we've renamed it. #Phil's training method. Well done, bruv. We've actually talking about shout outs, boys. Can I just give a shout out to someone on Twitter? Jamie Rose. Mad love to Jamie Rose. Our friends at London Marathon events, big fans of the show, put out a tweet earlier asking for podcast recommendations. And Jamie hit us up along with Marathon Talk. Big love to Marathon Talk. Big fan of Martin and the guys there. I know Alan is a huge fan of certain individuals, but he loves a bit of Marathon Talk. And but he mentioned us alongside Marathon Talk. So that's one of the biggest compliments you could give us. I actually feel a bit sorry for Marathon Talk to be named alongside us on the basis we spent 25 minutes talking about manscaping. So apologies, Marathon Talk, but thank you very much, Jamie Rose.
Apparently, Jamie Rose.
If you're a regular Marathon Talk listener and you thought, oh, this Jamie bloke thinks that the 40 rounds, it's on tonight, I'll have a listen. Hopefully you're not too disappointed.
Yeah, so sorry anybody who's tuned in to expect some form of like running related proper like stuff, guests about things. This is sorry.
Yeah, you're unfortunately.
Yeah, go on, Toad.
You reckon London Marathon events have listened to the London Marathon special?
Probably not.
That'd be the point, wouldn't it? When they realise.
Yeah, that I called them out for how much money they made out of the virtual running medals, and still got everyone to go to the expo.
That's a timely reference as well, that you can dive back into the archive if you go on Spotify, wherever you're going.
Look at that.
You can find stuff. It's all there, all sorts of things.
What a pro.
Great guests too. We used to have guests. They were great.
You can tell he's done 22 of these. By the way, we will be getting guests back. We just thought, because the band got disbanded for a few weeks through whatever, and apologies for Buddy. Anyone listening to the podcast, if you listen carefully, you can hear Buddy barking in the garden. And again, it just shows you how real life it is, people. But what was I saying, Wilco?
Guests. We'd like
guests. We will at some point we've got a long list of people that we really want to get on the channel, and these aren't elite runners, athletes, celebrities, people who are coming on here to plug their books, because I've had people ask me, I've got a book to come out. No, we ain't interested. We want you guys who listen to this to come on. If you want to come on the show and talk about, like we've had Louise Ford emailing, big shout out Louise. She wants to talk about canine cross, or whether it's canine cross, whatever, I can't remember.
Canine cross.
Canine cross. We're going to get her on in the new year. We're going to get everyday runners on this channel, people from
We
our
are looking-
satellite clubs.
Yeah, the
We want
satellite
them.
clubs is a big thing that we're going to look to get
So-
involved with, talking to people who organise
Like Hayden.
satellite clubs. So in the new year, that's going to be a big part of our plan. So we're looking
So
forward to that.
if you want to come on the channel, the podcast, and talk about something that's dear to your heart, whether it be about a charity, whether you're doing a special thing to raise some money, raise awareness, whatever, we want you on. We want everyday runners on this podcast and give you a voice.
Yeah,
to come on here. So thanks
we'll
again.
We'll definitely be moving on and taking that on in the new year. So hopefully we can sort that out.
And actually, it sort of segues in nicely, Wilco, to the email. Should we bat out a couple of these?
Let's bat out a couple of emails, mate. Yeah,
we're already at 50 minutes. Okay, again, apologies. We spent 25 minutes of that talking about other things. There was Al. Was I mad earlier? Or probably. Was there a question about shoes from one of our YouTube viewers?
Yes, there was.
I've got an email about shoes.
Andy T wants to know how many is one pair too many when it comes to running shoes?
Shall I go and get Mrs. Ford?
I think there is a simple answer. There's a mathematical equation, and it's n+1, where n equals the propensity to get divorced because you've got too many shoes.
A little tip.
n+1, you're fine.
A little tip, Andy. Put a shoe rack in the garage. She'll never know it's there. Oh, is it? Right, so
next
are
to
we
the
ready?
ice lollies.
What's that, Toe?
Next to the ice lollies.
Yeah, next to see, Toe's been in my garage.
And then you put your shoes back after you've been for your run, grab the ice lolly.
You ain't got a clue. And then you come in, you get told off for eating the kids' ice lollies. She's forgotten about the fact you're not wearing any shoes. See what we did there? It's like we're like Penn and Teller. Right, here we go.
Just before you go, sorry, mate. Just before you go, John Olds just asked what the plan is for Stevenage Park Run. So we're going tomorrow.
Yeah, come along.
All the 40s from Hertford are going. We're gonna have there's a big crowd.
We've got a couple down, haven't we? A couple of sick.
Yeah,
PB Petra's not coming.
Yeah, we'll all be in the pink. We'll all be there. You'll find us. Come down, John. Be lovely. We'll be there from about 20 to 9
in the snow.
Yeah.
Right. Are we ready?
Right,
we've got a couple here. We've got 4 here, right? But I'm going to do 2 of them as shout outs because we're running out of time. Shock. And we'll hit the others as quick as we can. How's that? Sound like a plan, boys?
Good. Yeah.
Can I just quickly, Toe, you really need to tidy that room up. It's looking poor. Right. Shout out to Chunk. What's he called? Where's he gone? He's from the Brazilian geezer, Chunky Monkey. Shout out. Thanks a lot for the email. I won't read it, but shout out Chunky Monkey, our Brazilian listener.
Cheers, Chunky.
If he's really from Brazil, actually send me a map of where you are. Right, okay. Question for no, hang on. Shout out to Robert Dickinson. He was talking about following on from our yearly miles target thing podcast we did. Again, you can download that and re-listen to that. He's targeted 1,000 miles this year after hitting 970 in 2020 with a target of 874. He did the Land's End to John O'Groats thing. That'd be a good one to chat about, boys, in the new year about these virtual medals in terms of distances. However, he hit his 1,000th target on November the 13th after doing some Kirkstall Abbey in Leeds. So well done, John. Robert. So I'm reading the next email. No, he's not sure of his 2022 target yet. Well, I tell you what, Robert, why don't you go for 2,022 kilometres? There you go.
Yeah,
right. So let's do I've got 2 questions because otherwise we're going to suck up too much air. Recently discovered FORDY runs on YouTube and love the content and love the podcast. Well, you know what, Andy? I love you.
We love you, Andy.
I've recently got back into running. It's going to be running the London Marathon in 2022. I'll see you on the line, big boy. Ran it last in 2018 when it was like, do you remember that one? It was hotter than the face of the sun. And he ran it in 4 hours and 19 minutes. Well done. That's a great time. He's aiming for sub 4. You'll easily smash that. If you need a bit of help with your coaching, speak to me and Al. Go on to fordyruns.com/coaching. Good plug, Al. What is the best mild stability shoe for distance? He currently runs in Brooks Ravina's 10. Short answer. I would personally, if you're going into marathon training, it's not very exciting. I would look at something like a Kayano 28, which is a max stability. But because of the distance that you're going to be covering for your marathon training, that thing is going to be built for about 1 million miles with that durability. You could go for something like a GT 2000, but they're not very soft in terms of the midsoles. And I've just done the test review, for the GT 2010s. They're a bit softer, but the Kayano, even though it's max stability, would probably be a better shout. The other one, which may sound a bit silly, is have a look at the Saucony Endorphin Shift 2. It's quite hard, but it's quite a good long run shoe because it's got some mild stability in it. You said mild stability, so that might be a good bridge. So have a look maybe at the Shift 2. You've obviously got the Vongo from New Balance, but in terms of, I don't know, it's all right. But I'm still a huge fan of the Mizuno Wave Inspire 17, and they're about to change that, so that could be for you. But yeah, I would personally have a look at either the Kayano, because it'll be like bulletproof, or a little bit out there, but have a look at the Shift 2 because it does have a little bit of stability. It's got a medial sort of bit of plastic clip around it, so it could help you in terms of your stability. Right. So anyway, hopefully that answers that. Billy Chapman, does your Brazilian listener use Manscaped? I think actually the two could be linked, Billy. But yeah, thanks for pointing that out. Right. So here we go. And I think this is probably aimed at Al. Right, this is from John. He's talking about. I gave this to you earlier because we actually.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
It's a long email, guys, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't got the capacity to read it out because, yeah. So Al, can you summarise it in like 10 seconds and then answer it?
The listener was asking about wearing glasses and what to do in terms of getting the right prescription and the right mix when you're heading out for your runs. And this is really topical and it's really painful because last week's park run cost me about 200 quid because I came off finishing Bless Her Rose's 100 park run. I took my sunglasses off, which are prescription, put them on the top of my car, got changed, drove off to the M25 and lost my sunglasses somewhere around the M25. So with the listener, I'm in the same boat looking for a solution. I've kept away from the Oakleys because they are just so expensive. And if you're like me and you do need a prescription every couple of years, I can't justify the price of the Oakleys. I'd love them because they look fantastic. I have tried a few of the, I wouldn't call budget range, but they're kind of more affordable. What you tend to find, or what I've tended to find, is the lenses are not as good. And therefore, I've kind of found them not quite working for me as a glass. But yes, they certainly run. They work for when you run. So I guess the answer is it depends what you want them for. I've been wearing my prescription sunglasses because they fit well, unlike these, which are not meant to run in. But it also means I've been running with them at 7 and 8 o'clock doing the satellite clubs, and I look a bit of a twat, running around in the dark with your head torch and sunglasses on. So the next option then for me is perhaps transitions, which again can be expensive. So unfortunately, there's not, I don't think, an easy, cost-effective solution if you need them, because you need to be able to see where you're going. The one option I haven't tried is the old contact lenses because I just can't poke myself in the eye 3 times a day. So I've had to stay away. That might be another cost-effective solution if you want to try contacts, because then the world is your oyster when it comes to sunglasses.
God, I tell you what, that was actually some proper
I'm not
advice.
even qualified. Could you guess?
Yeah, bear in mind, we're not proper opticians. We don't get.
We're not even qualified to talk about running, but we do that.
I just didn't see that advice coming now.
Did you not? Did you not know I'd kind of researched that?
God, that was actually amazing. It's taken 22 shows and we've given a proper answer.
Hey.
How can a bloke give an answer like that with so much authority and information and he don't know where the mute button is?
Al, you know what? You should get a job in like Specsavers. Because
Yeah.
when I went in there, the geezer didn't have a Scooby about nothing. I reckon if I go into Specsavers with you in there, I would at least part with, the wrong amount of money for some dodgy dodgy glasses.
Are you admitting to wearing glasses now then?
Yes, the age thing, boys. I tell you what also I've noticed is my hearing. I reckon it's either the tablets I'm on, right? Or I'm finally starting to lose it because I'm struggling to hear people. Like, I don't know. I think it's my age. I think it's either my age or the territories. But I've got the glasses now, which, by the way, a lot of people said I look like Brad Pitt in them. I'm just putting it out there. But I am struggling to hear people. But maybe it's because, I have to listen to Tobe for like 2 or 3 hours relentlessly going on about how he wants to get a white Audi. And it just, But anyway, big shout out to JBS for the super chat. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Phil T saying, come to Letchworth Park. He's saying Stevenage is too easy. So, Tobe, if he says it's too easy, you got to be on for tomorrow, boy.
Oh, I'll put Letchworth on my list. We'll go out there one day, perhaps.
Yeah, I think.
It's trail, Stevenage.
Is it trail, Letchworth?
No, Stevenage, apparently.
Hang on, hold tight. Hang on.
Well, gravelly.
What is trail? Because I've got shoes out tomorrow for a flat park run. Is this what are we doing?
There's a bit of grass.
Hang on, how much grass?
Bit, not a lot.
Bit.
Define it. Phil T's coming here. Letchworth is trail. Stevenage is
mostly pavement.
Mostly. Okay. All right. So, Phil, would you recommend Vaporflies if I've got to try and keep up with Tobe tomorrow? Let me know in the comments.
Oh, don't know.
Could get them out. Could smash out the Vaporflies. Put the Pumas on.
Yeah, so it's a big day for us tomorrow. We're all going to Stevenage Park Run.
Yeah.
We're going to have a great day, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us again for
over
62 minutes of rambling nonsense. Well, apart from the last bit when Al gave some very sage advice for anybody or for the vision.
Just kind of fast forward all the other stuff.
Yeah,
skip it.
That's what we have to do. We'll put a little mark in. So if you want the excellent and sage advice of Al on which glasses to wear and various eyewear suggestions, then this is a place to be. But if you want all the other stuff at the front about manscaping and things, it's up to you. We're here for everybody. You
can see why this is one of the biggest running podcasts in the UK now, can't you? The value that Al's added there for
absolutely. Well, now we're becoming established. We've got to raise the bar and try and look a bit more professional. We'll do our best. But once again, everybody, thanks ever so much for joining us at 7:00 on YouTube or Facebook, and
spread the word.
Yeah, tell your friends, tell your work colleagues, tell people you don't like.
Maybe anybody. We should do a special offer next week for people who want a long run show podcast live stream T-shirt to get the name. Maybe we'll come up with something for like competition or something to get it out there. What do you think?
Of something.
Send us an email in or something, whatever it is, Wilco. What is it?
longrunshow@gmail.com.
Sponsored by Manscaped, and let us know because we'll maybe we should get some advertising out there, boys. Just
Yeah, just absolutely great. So if you can't catch us on our live cast, we're always available on your usual podcasts, particularly Apple. If you go on Apple, then you can push us up the charts. We can be even higher. Watch out, Jenny Faulkner. That's what I say. So get on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, wherever other place you get your podcast. Come and listen to us. Take us on your long run with you, and keep your emails coming to longrunshow@gmail.com. And I'm now going to pack up before I crack up. So we shall see you next week. Thanks for coming.
Cheers, everyone. See you later.